Welcome to the Finding Magic podcast, where we explore themes of magic, of creativity, and of structured intuition, which is using our intuition to lead us through our lives. And these themes are raised in my book, Getting into the Flow. And so the podcast aims to deepen our understanding and expand it. But it's not just all about me. We can also learn from my fantastic, amazing, and wonderful guests who share their stories of magic and so help us shift our view of reality away from it being seemingly random, which was what we were brought up to believe, and into seeing how the magic is woven in, to sensing it, and ultimately to creating it. Now, when we do that, we begin to live our lives from a higher we can start to live our lives from our highest potential. We can become all we can be. And we can live lives that are powerful and on purpose from a place of joy and inspiration. Hi, I'm Vincent, your host. Let's get into it. So welcome to this episode, I.1, my very first interview. And today I'll be interviewing Beverley Holt and inviting her to share a story of magic showing up in her life. Beverley is a health and well-being expert, speaker, coach, and podcaster. She is the brainchild of Atomic Empowerment, your pathway to love, peace, happiness, and harmony. Beverley says every journey of self-development and transformation begins with one simple act, a choice right now, at this moment, to do something to make a difference. She believes that being of service to self, others, humanity, and our planet is the recipe for great joy and satisfaction. So welcome, Beverley. Thank you so much for joining me. And let's start by talking a little bit about the background to the magic story you're going to share. What was going on before the magic happened?
Thank you, Vincent, firstly, for that wonderful introduction. And I thought I'd start because the tapestry of my life began with a peculiar birthmark on the top of my inner left thigh, an accidental rendering of Australia, my mother humorously claimed. We used to joke about it. And little did I know that this seemingly whimsical detail would set the stage for a journey woven with signs and synchronicities. So, fueling my fascination with travel, my mother in jest predicted I would one day journey to Australia, the wanderlust coursing through my veins as my great-great-uncle's naval adventures to the continent allegedly sparked my insatiable desire to explore. By the tender age of 6, my heart was set on living in Australia, an obsession that became my constant companion. And one day at the age of 14, in a moment of teenage whimsy, found me in front of the mirror with a pillow stuffed up my dress and daydreaming about pregnancy. Because, as you know, Vincent, in our age, that was the thing. Children were having babies so much younger. But my mother caught me, and her annoyance carried a mysterious revelation. She was clairvoyant, and she foresaw I would not bear children, but was destined to heal others. A unique path unfolded before me. However, she assured me of a joyous, fulfilling life, a promise that foretold a story, a journey around the world, and meeting my future husband in Australia. So, of course, I was very excited. So she instructed me to peep in the mirror, to have a look. So we had this old-fashioned dressing table in her room and where I was. So I looked in the mirror, and before my eyes, I saw a vision of a young boy with red hair, and really, like, his hair was quite long and scraggly, and it was like, oh my God. And I knew my siblings would tease me because we'd done it to one of my older sisters about red hair. It was like in the day, no red hair, and redheads took a beating at school. Anyway, Brian's vision emerged before me, and the echo vision resonated many years later when we went to visit his parents, and I was looking at the collages on the wall, and I just was aghast. I couldn't believe it. It was like, flashback of all those years ago, seeing a familiar face. And it was Brian captured in the moment that I'd seen him in the mirror, and the vision from my youth. So the universe, it seemed, had been orchestrating the dance of fate long before our paths officially crossed. And, I was thinking it was just my friends and his friends trying to connect us with our sailing and so forth. But yeah, this tale of the whimsical birthmark, my teenage dreams and prophetic visions, paints a vivid picture of a life guided by unforeseen forces, where this extraordinary becomes the norm and the mundane holds the keys to extraordinary destinies.
Hey, that's great, Beverley. That's great. Just a question on the collage. Where did the collage come from?
Brian's mum, in her hallway upstairs next to the bedrooms, she's got about 12 frame paintings with, not frame paintings, pictures. And she's got collages all ad hoc with Brian, his sister, her at all, and her husband at different ages. So my in-laws and the grandchildren, so they're all scattered at different ages. And Brian and I appear, over the years. And then I seen this picture of him, like, oh my goodness, I every time I think about it, it sends a flutter in my heart, remembering.
Yeah. Oh, look, that's really, really magical. How do you feel about it today?
Yeah,
How do you feel thinking about it?
Yeah, it does send my heart a flutter, and my relationship with Brian, it just keeps growing daily, strength by strength, and it's like, wow, this was destined. And when you think about it, my mum said we would travel, or I would travel, and Brian and I, over the last 19 years, have lived in 9 different countries and many different states in those countries as well. And we've done lots of sailing, done lots of adventures. And of course, my healing journey as healing myself and healing others has been prominent in each country wherever we lived. So, yeah.
Great. So what lessons would you say you've learned from having the magical experiences like this one and like one or two others you're going to share with me down the track?
Yeah, is just trust that, just because your logical mind says, no, that can't be true. It's like, just go with the flow. Like, because I've been having signs which come naturally to me over the years and just going with them, I just think, oh yeah, like this, seeing the signs and synchronicities has led Brian and I to travel to so many countries. And now, in the beginning, he was a bit skeptical, and I was like, no, I've got to urge, I don't know why, we have to move here. And we've just flown. So for me, I just trust. And for you listeners, just trust. If you get an inkling to go somewhere or do something, follow it, because following your heart, you're in the flow, you're in the zone, you're in the field of magic, in that quantum field, and just go, because your life will be so much more exciting. You can let go of the need to control, let go of the outcome, and just go, okay, let's do it.
Well, thank you very much, Beverley. That's a wonderful story. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now, if anybody is listening and they want to stay connected with you, how can they do that?
They can contact me on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook is Beverley Holt, my name. They can contact me on Instagram, health.wellness.podcaster, or they can email me at beverley@riverareiki.com.au.
I always laugh when I see that email address, because it's Riviera Reiki, talks about your time in Monaco, but yet it's got the .au on the end.
Yeah.
There's something about that amuses me. Thank you so much.
Actually,
Beverley.
I should check it. I think it's just .com.
Okay. Well, I'll come back to that in a second, because I'm going to say thank you so much, Beverley, for joining me here today. And I know you've got one or two more stories, and we will get to them. But for those of you listening, if you'd like to learn more about me, my work, or about finding magic, or if you'd like to find out how to use structured intuition to create a vision for your life, create your life as you've seen it in that vision, and reach your true potential much more than I can address in this podcast, then check out my website, vincentgmelling.com. The podcast button at the top will take you to links to access the full list of places you can access the podcast, and it will give you the full list of episodes. And for Beverley's interview, that will include a link to all the resources that she's shared with me and just shared with you on the podcast. So go there and you'll be able to get them. And it will also give you a link to a Facebook group where you can join the discussion of the episodes. Again, vincentgmelling.com. And thanks to all of you. Thanks to the local birds, the golf course, and the builders next door for the sound effects. And I'll catch you all in the next episode. Well, that was a long conversation that we had together. And so I've chosen to separate out some of the stories and split it there. So there will be more of that coming up on the podcast down the track. Looking forward to that. And if you'd like to learn more about my guest, about me, or about finding magic, please head on over to vincentgmelling.com. And there you'll find a button that says podcast. And if you click that, you will be taken to a list of all the episodes, a list of places where my podcast is available. For each episode, there's a link to all the resources and links that my guest has given me for that episode. And finally, there's a link to a place where you can join the discussion of the episodes. Over and above that, there is also a link. If you have a story about magic you'd like to share, there's a link where you can go to send me a message and let me know. There's also a button for my book, Getting into the Flow, which is scheduled for launch on the 2nd of April. That's right after Easter. And if you're watching this before about the 9th of April, head on over there and claim the discount that's available to you for that. And finally, there's a button for you to engage with me if you'd like a one-on-one session, or if you'd like to join one of my trainings or classes where you'll learn to embody the work of structured intuition. You'll aim to create and consolidate your true vision and purpose, and you'll learn how to create your life from that perspective. Again, please head over to vincentgmelling.com And thank you all for watching this. Thanks to the birds and thanks to the builders for the sound effects. Bye.